All right, viewers, news break just coming in. The state of Maharashtra has finally announced a big COVID relaxation. 15th August onwards, local trains will be allowed for fully vaccinated citizens. Rupees 500 fine for those travelling without vaccine certificates. Restaurants allowed to operate till 10 p.m. with 50% capacity. Shopping malls allowed to open till 10 p.m. but only for those who are fully vaccinated. No decision yet on reopening of schools. That's the latest news break that we're getting in, viewers. The state of Maharashtra has been extremely cautious, way more than other states, understandably so, because they faced a huge brunt during the COVID crisis and now have slowly decided to open up. Maharashtra will be relaxing COVID rules starting 15th August. Now, local trains will be open, but to fully vaccinated citizens. If you do not have your certificate, your vaccination certificate, then rupees 500 fine will be charged for those travelling without it. Restaurants now will finally be allowed to operate till just 10 p.m. though, with 50% capacity. Shopping malls will be allowed to open till 10 p.m. but only for those who are fully vaccinated. You will not be allowed to enter a shopping mall in the state of Maharashtra if you do not carry your certificate of vaccination on your person. All right, viewers, monsoon mayhem continues to rain fury, and the latest is heartbreaking. A landslide of horror coming in from Himachal Pradesh's Kinnaur. The death toll in the horrific landslide has now mounted to 10. 6 more bodies have been pulled out of the rubble. At least, and that's a very conservative estimate, 14 people have been injured. They have been rescued. The incident occurred after a bus and 2 cars were buried under a landslide near Chil Jangal. The bus was on its way from Murang in Kinnaur to Uttarakhand's Haridwar. The bus driver was rescued and he has said that there were 25 people on board. Prime Minister and the Home Minister have dialed the Himachal Chief Minister to review the situation. They've assured all support. I want to connect immediately to my colleague Manjeet, who's getting us the latest. Manjeet, what is the latest count in terms of fatalities and those who were injured?
Well, Preeti, the rescue operation is on, and so far 10 casualties have been reported and 14 people have been rescued safely. Some of them are critically injured. They've been admitted to Bhavanagar PHC Government Hospital. Chief Minister Jairam Thakur has expressed deep concern and has said that those who lost their lives will be duly compensated, and those who have been injured will also be compensated, and their treatment will be free of cost, and has ensured all the relatives all type of help. The rescue operation is currently on. It was hampered as the boulders are still rolling down the hill and the passage has been blocked from both sides of the roads. Remember, the rescue teams are on 2 sides, one towards the Rampur in Shimla district and second towards the Murang, and 200-meter stretch of the road has been damaged by the landslide which occurred today afternoon.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Manjeet. Devastating news there. 10 fatalities have been confirmed and there are many critically injured. We're going to keep a keen eye on all developments. Meanwhile, let's take you right now to the Rajya Sabha. The chairperson and Vice President of India, Venkaiah Naidu, today broke down in the upper house over continued unruly scenes in Parliament. Naidu's voice choked while addressing the House on ruckus and unruly conduct by opposition members. Here's more.
I have no words to convey my anguish and to condemn such acts, as I spent a sleepless night.
Rajya Sabha Chairman Venkaiah Naidu has had enough. Warning after warning after warning has been ignored.
Please obey the chair and go back. If the House is not allowed to function today, also a message will go that this House also is not concerned for the plight of the farmers, who are the bread givers for our people. A message will go. So House must be allowed to function and we can discuss about farmers issue. Yes, farmers issue. Farmers issue. I have already admitted farmers issue, price rise, flood issue and other issues. If this is the way, Papers can be confessed. No, please sit down. Please sit down. Let us not spoil the atmosphere. Keeping that in mind, I am adjourning the House. Parliament is much more than a political institution, given its constitutional mandate. But there seems to be a scant respect for the constitutional sanctity of Parliament. Very, very unfortunate. As the chairman of this august House, I am deeply distressed by the course of events in the House.
And the breaking point for the Rajya Sabha chair was this moment. Congress MP Pratap Singh Bajwa resorting to an unparliamentary protest, standing on a table and throwing papers at the chair. As the opposition gunned him on, Bajwa climbed up on the table in what's considered the most sacrosanct area of the upper house.
I have no words to convey my anguish and to condemn such acts, as I spent a sleepless night. Last night, I struggled to find out the provocation or reason for forcing this august House to hit such a low yesterday.
Naidu has time and again warned the opposition and tried hard to act as mediator between the government and opposition, but to no avail.
Chair and go back.
The opposition has resorted to all sorts of tactics to ensure their demands are met, and that has in many circumstances meant completely unparliamentary behavior in the House. Bureau Report, India Today.
The war of the Sardars has reignited in Punjab as Captain Amrinder Singh complained to the Congress President Sonia Gandhi about New Punjab Congress chief Navjot Singh Sidhu during his visit to the capital. Sources have told our channel that Amrinder expressed his displeasure, presented a file to Sidhu's tweets and comments against his government. The captain is also believed to have told Sonia Gandhi that Sidhu is pointing fingers at his own government instead of focusing on Congress rivals. All right, shifting focus now to the Uddhav government in Maharashtra. Well, it has instituted a new Rajiv Gandhi Award for the IT sector. The move comes days after the centre renamed India's top sports award Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna after hockey legend Major Dhyan Chand. The decision was taken in a meeting chaired by Congress leader and Maharashtra Minister of State for Information and Technology Satej Patil. The minister said the award will be lasting tribute to the late Rajiv Gandhi for his pioneering work in the tech sector. The award will be given on August 20th, which is the birth anniversary of the former Prime Minister.
राजीव गांधी देश के डिजिटल इंडिया के जनक थे। आज जो हम कुछ डिजिटल कर रहे हैं ना सब, ये शुरुआत राजीव गांधी ने की है, तो उनके नाम से अगर महाराष्ट्र सरकार इस क्षेत्र का सबसे बड़ा पुरस्कार देता है तो उसका पूरे देश ने स्वागत करना चाहिए।
खेल रत्न पुरस्कार को मेजर ध्यानचंद जी का नाम देने का फैसला सामने आया। सारा देश और खिलाड़ी चाह रहे थे, समूचा देश, सारे दल इसका स्वागत करे, पर दुर्भाग्य से शिवसेना ने न केवल इस पर आपत्ति जताई, बल्कि यह सियासत है, इस प्रकार की वे वाणी टिप्पणी के तौर पर बोल गए। सवाल पुरस्कार को किसका नाम दिया जाता है यह नहीं है, सवाल शिवसेना दल की मंशा और टाइमिंग पर है।
Meanwhile, a political face-off rages on over renaming of Karnataka's Indira canteens across the state. The Congress has threatened the ruling BJP that if such a move is made, they will take to the streets and blacken all the signboards with BJP leaders' names on it. Here's more.
Days after Prime Minister Narendra Modi renamed the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Awards as Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna, a similar demand is being made in Karnataka. BJP State General Secretary C.T. Ravi has urged Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai to rename Indira canteens across the state as Annapurneshwari Canteen. He says the name Indira reminds people of the dark days of emergency. All-out political war has erupted in Karnataka over the BJP leader's demand. The Congress has threatened to blacken signboards of landmarks named after Sangh icons if the BJP renames Indira canteens.
ಇಂದಿರಾ ಗಾಂಧಿಯವರ ಹೆಸರನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದು ಬೇರೆ ಹೆಸರನ್ನು ಇಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಇದರ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ನೆಟ್ಟಿಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಬಿಜೆಪಿಯವರು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಮುಖಂಡರ ಹೆಸರನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟಡಗಳಿಗೆ ಕೆಲವು ಫ್ಲೇವರ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ವಾಜಪೇಯಿ ಅವರ ಹೆಸರು ನಮ್ಮ BMTC ಬಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಗೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದೀನ್ ದಯಾಳ್ ಉಪಾಧ್ಯಾಯ ಅವರ ಹೆಸರನ್ನು ಯಶವಂತಪುರ ಫ್ಲೈಓವರ್ಗೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಂದಿರಾ ಗಾಂಧಿಯವರ ಹೆಸರೇನಾದರೂ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಈ ಫ್ಲೈಓವರ್ಗಳು ಮತ್ತು BMTC ಬಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಆ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಮಸಿ ಬೆಳಿತೀವಿ.
The BJP meanwhile dared the Congress to act on their threats.
There are no rights to tell about the Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Here the government is BJP government, the powerful BJP government. Atal Bihari, there is a Modi is there, here is a Bommai is there. It is not possible. They have no guts to do that.
Indira Canteens, started by Siddaramaiah during his chief ministership, offers affordable food to the poor. For Congress, renaming them is like stripping the party of its legacy. The fight over Indira Canteens has only started. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, Kerala's tourism sector has suffered huge losses amidst the COVID pandemic. However, now the government has relaxed some restrictions in the state of tourism sector, which proves to be a mild breather for the sector. Here's more.
Kerala's famed houseboats are back on the move. Though COVID cases remain high, the state government has decided to reopen tourist destinations across Kerala, giving backwater tourism a new lease of life. But unlocking comes with many riders. Only those boats with vaccinated staff will be allowed to run. Tourists must either be vaccinated with at least one dose or possess a COVID-19 negative certificate that is not older than 72 hours.
Right now, the government and district administration has given guidelines. We are checking the COVID-19 certificates or RT-PCR tests from the guests, and after that only we are allowing them boarding pass.
So this is just like coming into a hotel room or any other place, maybe even your house. This is how you enter inside. I just stepped in through that area and I've come inside. So this is actually the sit out in a houseboat. So this is going to be more or less the norm in most of the houseboats. There may be some small changes depending upon the category that you're choosing, but still this is more or less the same thing that you would see.
There are COVID checks even in water. The police intercept most of the houseboats, check for boarding passes and ensure COVID-19 appropriate behavior. With the backwaters opening up, tourists are trickling in. Ankur and Ruchi have come from Thane in Maharashtra. They are on their long-delayed honeymoon trip. The couple got married in 2019 but never got the opportunity to travel as pandemic struck.
Actually, people were telling don't come to Kerala, it's all hotspot area. When I actually came here, what I saw was tourist area is almost clean. There is nothing to worry. Wear your mask, use sanitizer, enjoy the ride.
इतने टाइम से घर पे रह रहे हैं तो फिर वो मतलब बहुत हेक्टिक हो गया था. घर पे कंटिन्यू एक ही जगह. तो फिर इसीलिए हम लोग का अभी एक्चुअली 1.5 year हो गया एंड ये हमारा लाइक इतने 1.5 year के बाद एक ट्रिप हुआ है.
While reopening of tourism is good news for boat owners, they are not out of the woods yet. Owners have had to invest lakhs to renovate their boats, which remained idle for more than a year. Houseboats in a state of disrepair is a common sight here. Many are unable to bear the maintenance cost.
to revive this or to repair this is going to cost them lakhs and lakhs of rupees. As the tourism reopens, many people have managed to acquire funds and investments from multiple sources. Maybe they have borrowed to try and repair their vessels and get them back on water. But there are many more who do not have that particular luxury or who do not have the facility to go through that process.
Varun Kumar has been in this industry for nearly a decade. His boat started sinking in May. Rebuilding it will cost him lakhs. Varun says their problems began in 2018 when floods ravaged Kerala. The pandemic added to the pain.
अगर बिजनेस अभी 3 साल हो गया 2018 में इधर प्रलय पानी का प्रॉब्लम हो गया उसके बाद अभी 1.1 साल के ऊपर हो गया कोविड का प्रॉब्लम इसके कोविड का वजह से 2 महीने हम लोग को छोटा छोटा ऑर्डर मिला था नवंबर दिसंबर में लेकिन उसमें कुछ फायदा नहीं है.
During the first wave, the state government had provided a one-time grant for houseboats in Alappuzha. But owners of small boats, which are used by local tourists, were not covered.
After Corona, actually, no help has been given. No support has been given from the authority side, and we are in deep trouble now because it's a budget thing. It's a budget tour for the guest, actually.
Onam is around the corner. This is the season of boat races. If things were normal, Kerala would have been entering peak tourist season. Hotels in the region would have been full, but not this time.
Last 1.5 years, there is, Alapi means, this is a backwater tourism sector. There are even our own people, Keralites, they want to come out. There is a lot of restrictions.
After nearly 1 year of struggle, Kerala's tourism is all set to be on the path of revival. The backwaters of Alappuzha are gaining momentum as tourists start trickling in from both within and outside Kerala. With camera person Tinku Rajshegaran, Gopikrishnan in Alappuzha for India Today.
Welcome back. You're watching the Fact Check segment where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp news. There's a claim floating about suggesting after winning the gold, Neeraj Chopra tweeted in support of farmers. The fact on that, the viral tweet, is from an imposter account. With that quick fact check, time for us to wrap up 7 at 7. Do stay tuned. On the other side is To The Point.